Welcome back, guys. Well, this is my Christmas vacation project 2013. I decided I'd jump forward about 25 years, and because let's just say I kind of miss high fidelity and this little invention they called stereo sound. Anyway, so this is a 1963 Sansui 500 receiver, and my understanding is that this was this and the 1000, which was the upper model of this. This is only 20 watts per channel, and the next one higher was the 1000, which was 100 watts total, 50 watts per channel or 55 watts per channel. This uses 16 tubes, so let's see, it's AM FM. It also it has one of those Japanese square tuning eye tubes, so I had to have it because it had a tuning eye tube in it, of course. So anyway, AM FM, obviously, phono. What else? You know, tape. I guess back then it was reel to reel, and it does have an auxiliary. Other than that, you know, it's not anything super spectacular. Except for it's supposed to sound really, really, really good. So I guess we'll find out. But anyway, I wanted to pop the top here and let you know. Again, like I said, this has got 16 tubes in it, and has one of those funky aerials, but it's on this like swivelly thing. So I think you can see me moving that. Yeah. All right. So I have the power tubes out. I was testing them. Let's see. Let's get in closer in here. So it doesn't look so ominous on the top. This here is the FM section. This here is the multiplexer. This is the AM side. I already showed you the FM side. Amplifier in the back. Lots and lots of electrolytics. These are the two main ones. This is a 3. This has got 320 microfarads in it, and this one down here has 420 microfarads in it. And as far as these big cans go, I could not find, these are Elna caps. I don't know how much you guys know about hi-fi, but I had to do a little bit of research because you use different components. I mean, different types of capacitors and, well, yeah, just the capacitors. So they're not. It's not really. Not like they're really more expensive. There's just different ones that you should use for audio. Originally I picked up a bunch of Nichicon UPWs, but because this is like a 3 and this is a 4, I don't want to have, the caps are too big. They won't stuff into these. I could probably fit 3 in here, but only one would fit in here. Maybe fit 3 in here. So I don't know if I want like a blooming onion type of thing with capacitors on it or not. I may actually, well, what I did with these was I ordered these JJ caps. I don't necessarily know if these are super great sounding caps or whatnot, because, well, everybody's got an opinion, as you know. Anyway, the main reason I bought these was that, first of all, they weren't that expensive. They were $7 each, versus I think it was $5 for the better musical capacitors. Anyway, the reason why I bought these is because they're the exact same size. And like I said, they weren't really that expensive. And I think I may do is same outfit for $14 or $13. What's it? They're all over the place at several different prices. $12 or $13. I can get smaller ones of these that have 4 20s in them, or 3 20s and a 40. And I may get those to put here and here just for cleanliness reasons. Again, like I said, they weren't really that expensive. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip this around. You might notice, actually, maybe you've noticed, the eye tube is missing. I did take it out. And I'll tell you what, that was a really, really hard tube to find. I did manage to find them. They were not cheap. In fact, couldn't tell you the last time I spent $50 on a tube. But anyhow, I did find them and I bought two, so Merry Christmas to me. And I hope my mother's not watching because I didn't buy her a Christmas present this year. This thing doesn't want to come out. There it goes. So here's the eye tube on these. Like I said, it's a square tube and it has two... It's got two adjustable eyes. There's one on the top and one on the bottom. When it sits inside the system here, it will go into this hole. As you can see, FM is on top and AM is on the bottom. When this thing is actually in operation, the top eye tube will close when you're on a station, and if you're on AM, the bottom of the eye tube will close. So, anyway, again, it had an eye tube. I had to buy it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the top back on here, flip it over on the bottom, and you're going to see just exactly how much work I have ahead of me. The top is very deceiving. It doesn't look that complicated, but like I said, wait till I turn it over. So I will be back. Alright, I'm back. I flipped it back over. I wanted to show you the insides. As you can see, I have my work cut out for me here. The only work that was really ever done on this was by the previous owner sometime in the 80s. He replaced the coupling caps to the output tubes with these Sprague PS series. I hate to use the term orange drops because that's so generic now, although these kind of were the original. But the PS are polyester caps, and polyester caps tend to make a softer sound. The reasoning behind using different, they call audio grade capacitors, is because you're trying to avoid the sterile, tinny sound you get with normal capacitors. I would really have to play around with it. So, there's people have opinions, and everything that I've done here was the consensus of most of everybody. So from what I read, the polyester give you kind of a more muted sound. Some people swear by paper in oil and gold foil in oil and silver foil in oil, and I was looking, there are capacitors that cost $200, $300, $400 each. So maybe I shouldn't laugh, but it just seems a little silly. Anyhow, so this thing is, you can see all these, well, now I'm pointing at these are all Elna electrolytics here. I couldn't find, it was sad because I kind of wanted to use the Elna again because they're Silmic 2 series, which is they use silk. They're supposed to sound really good, and as exotic as that sounds, they weren't, they're not really expensive. We're talking, I mean, granted, they're not 40 cents each, but they're like 80 cents, so big deal. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anybody that had stock on them at a decent price. I found a few more of the boutique-y places that just wanted too much for them. Plus, since the original electrolytics were Elna, I kind of wanted to stick with them, but doesn't look like the Elna makes in a music type cap electrolytic high voltage. So I wouldn't have been able to get can caps for it, the big ones. So I have to put all of these in here. For the oil caps, now originally they used these. Let's find one that you can see here. Originally, and wait, where is it? If you can see that, they use these Suzuki oil caps. Apparently these things are like little firecrackers. So I did fire it up. Like I said, the guy had it turned it on, and it's rather hummy. But everything I read was like, you know, don't power it up because those things will start going off. They like to explode. Plus, this electrolytic, for example, here, as it is leaky. It's not oil. This one isn't oil, but it's still the electrolytes leaking out of it. Plus, when I went to, this is supposed to be 50 microfarad when I tested it. I didn't test for leakage, but it tested at like 100. So anyhow, I do have my work cut out for me. As you see, there are oil caps everywhere, and actually this here, believe it or not, I've never seen one so small, but that is a selenium diode. So I will be replacing that with a 1004. This actually hooks into there's a 25 volt winding on the schematic, and that hooks into, it's actually negative voltage. It looks like it couples together with there's a 97 volt winding. Here, I'll show you the schematic. I managed to find the service manual for this, and the service manual from Sansui, actually it it reads a lot like a or it's set up a lot like a photo fac. That's the page there. I love it because the AM alignment here has you use an oscilloscope. I mean, I see that, I can see that for the FM alignment, but AM, it's like kind of serious stuff there. Alright, so it does have a picture of the underneath, the top of the chassis here, obviously. And I suppose this is stereo porn because it's a big fold out. So here's the schematic, which of course is an 11 by 17, so I can't really scan it. I kind of scanned bits and pieces of it. You can find these online, but they're in really poor condition. And I have this upside down. Alright, so this uses, like I said, it's got tubes in it, but where is it? The phono amp section here uses transistors, so this is kind of a bit of a hybrid unit. And like I said, I have my work cut out for me. So here we go. Here's some more porn. Layout of the components, and I can tell you Suzuki was not any better than Philco. Some of these they didn't even finish printing the number. On the picture of here it is. On the picture of the underside of the chassis, there's a few places here where they started to write out the component and then never finished didn't even finish typing out the letter. So anyway, as I said, I've got some work cut out for me. I understand these sound really good, so I've got all the tubes checked out okay, except the power tubes. They weren't in here. Previous owner had sold them. I don't think he used this very much, or he had it retubed in the 70s sometime, because all of the tubes, with the exception of the FM mixer tube and the 12AT7, which is in this unit here, all of those were everything tested above their ratings, with the exception of those two tubes. And I do happen to have a whole bunch of 12AT7s. I picked up a box of the Philips Jan 12 AT7 WXTs, I think, a long time ago for my other amp. Back before when tubes were still, I mean, not that they're not plentiful, but back before they got super overly expensive. I think I paid $10 for a box of 20 of them. And that at the time was really not that cheap, because a lot of tubes were going for $1 a piece. So a lot's changed in the 10 years since I've been doing this stuff. Anyhow, this video introduction to the Sansui has run a bit long. Did I go over these caps? I went, for the film caps, I went with polypropylene. It tends to be a cleaner sound. I went with Illinois capacitors. They sound very similar to, I guess, to the 716s. These are the Sprague 716s. 715. The 716 is basically a Sprague 715, but in a smaller package. And as you can see here, these are the PS series orange drops, and they're rather thick. And these here are, these actually aren't the same size, but they're quite a bit thinner. These are point, I don't remember what they are now. So anyway, another interesting thing is in here they used these variable resistors. That's going to be, I'm going to have to do a little research to find out why, because there must be a reason why they chose a resistor that's adjustable in here. I tested out, the power resistors all fine. This thing is never overloaded as far as I know. It doesn't seem like it. Nothing seems burned. I tested some of these carbon. I'll have to point out that they mention this. These big giant ones here. These are called noiseless carbon. So nowadays we would replace these with metal film. Carbon is considered noisy. Lots of mica caps in here. Lots of these. Just interesting how they did things in the 60s. Alright, so I've done enough for now. I'm going to go ahead and I guess I'll start recapping after tomorrow's festivities if I haven't had too much to drink. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and I'll give you an update on this in a few days. Thanks for watching.